Yet, even those who questioned his methods could not deny his brilliance. Leonardo's birthplace, Vinci, was a quaint countryside town.
Leonardo, you are ruining the walls again. You must learn discipline.
To achieve his vision, Leonardo abandoned traditional fresco techniques, where he painted portions of larger compositions. His understanding of human anatomy was unparalleled. He devoted years to studying horse anatomy and perfecting the structural design. It was there that he received a commission for what would become the most famous portrait in history, the Mona Lisa. He spent his final years contemplating his discoveries, improving his designs for city planning, water-driven machinery, and anatomical studies. On May 2nd, 1519, at the age of 67, Leonardo da Vinci passed away in France. In the spring of 1452, under the vast Tuscan sky, in a small village nestled among rolling green hills, a child was born who would one day change the course of history. His name was Leonardo da Vinci. He was not just a painter. He was an inventor, a scientist, an engineer, and a philosopher. An unparalleled genius whose insatiable curiosity would push the boundaries of human knowledge. Leonardo's birthplace, Vinci, was a quaint countryside town where olive groves and vineyards stretched far beyond the eye could see. The scent of fresh earth and wild flowers filled the air, and the rhythmic sounds of nature provided the perfect symphony for an inquisitive young mind. Even as a small child, Leonardo was different. His eyes constantly searched for patterns in the movement of birds, in the swirling currents of the rivers, in the way the wind shaped the landscape. Everything fascinated him, and everything demanded an answer.
Leonardo, you are ruining the walls again. You must learn discipline.
But look, Ser Piero. He sees the world differently. His drawings are extraordinary.
Mother, why does the bird fly? How does it stay in the air?
Leonardo spent his childhood exploring the fields and forests of Vinci, sketching animals, trees, and the movements of water. His mother, Caterina, encouraged his creativity, while his father, Ser Piero, often dismissed it as a distraction. Yet even Ser Piero could not ignore Leonardo's extraordinary talent. At the age of 14, Leonardo's father recognized his potential and arranged for him to apprentice with Andrea del Verrocchio, one of Florence's most respected artists and engineers. The journey from the quiet town of Vinci to the bustling city of Florence would be the turning point in Leonardo's life. Florence, the jewel of the Renaissance, was alive with art, music, and intellectual discovery. The great minds of the era gathered in its streets, exchanging ideas that would shape the future of science and culture. For a young Leonardo, it was a place of endless possibility. Under Verrocchio's guidance, Leonardo quickly mastered the techniques of drawing, painting, and sculpting. His skill became evident in his early work assisting his master on projects, where he painted portions of larger compositions. One such masterpiece was The Baptism of Christ, where Leonardo's angel was so exquisitely painted that Verrocchio himself was said to have been humbled by his student's ability.
Leonardo, your angel looks as if it breathes. You have surpassed even me.
There's still so much more to learn, Master. Art is just the beginning.
He studied anatomy by dissecting animals, and later, human cadavers, striving to understand the mechanics of movement. He examined light and perspective, experimented with pigments, and envisioned machines that had never been built. He was not content to simply create. He sought to understand the very fabric of existence.
If a bird can fly, why not man? The air is a fluid. Perhaps differently shaped wings could achieve flight.
Leonardo was more than an artist. He was a scientist and an engineer. His notebooks, filled with sketches and observations, revealed a mind centuries ahead of its time. He designed flying machines, tanks, and bridges, imagining a world that would not exist until the modern age. His understanding of human anatomy was unparalleled. He studied the muscles, bones, and organs of the body, producing illustrations that remain some of the most detailed anatomical studies in history. He observed the way light interacted with different surfaces, laying the foundation for his revolutionary painting techniques. One of his most astonishing inventions was the mechanical knight, an automaton designed with gears and pulleys that could move on its own. Though never built in his lifetime, it demonstrated his deep comprehension of mechanics. Leonardo also experimented with hydraulics, designing systems for water transport and irrigation. His concepts for canal locks and water lifting devices were revolutionary, and many of his ideas were later developed into functional engineering marvels.
Leonardo, you do not simply paint, you seek the truth in all things.
Art and science are not separate, Master. They are both the pursuit of understanding.
Leonardo's reputation in Florence grew rapidly, attracting the attention of wealthy patrons, scholars, and artists who saw in him a talent that transcended the conventions of the time. His ability to blend artistic mastery with scientific inquiry made him unique among his contemporaries. At this time, he was commissioned for numerous projects, including grand frescoes and innovative architectural plans. Though many remained unfinished, his boundless curiosity often led him to start multiple projects simultaneously, each fueled by his insatiable thirst for knowledge. Yet, even the works he left incomplete were admired for their revolutionary techniques and artistic depth. One of the most notable of these unfinished works was the Adoration of the Magi. This piece, brimming with intricate movement and profound emotion, showcased Leonardo's unparalleled understanding of perspective. It was not merely a religious painting, but a study of the human form, filled with complex interactions and expressions that seemed almost alive.
Leonardo, when will it be done?
There is always more to perfect, more to discover.
His approach to painting was unlike any other. He perfected sfumato, a technique that allowed for seamless transitions between light and shadow, creating a realism that made his subjects appear almost tangible. Beyond painting, Leonardo was deeply invested in engineering and city planning. He designed complex canal systems to control water flow and proposed urban layouts that were centuries ahead of their time. His notebooks were filled with sketches of machines, some to improve daily life, others to revolutionize warfare. As Leonardo's fame grew, so too did his list of admirers and detractors. Many in Florence saw him as an unparalleled genius, while others viewed him as an eccentric dreamer who abandoned projects too easily. Yet, even those who questioned his methods could not deny his brilliance. In 1482, seeking new patronage and greater creative freedom, Leonardo left for Milan, a city that would offer him both new possibilities and some of the most significant projects of his career. In 1482, Leonardo da Vinci left Florence, seeking new opportunities beyond the competitive artistic landscape of his hometown. He arrived in Milan, a city known for its military power, commerce, and cultural richness.
You are famed for your paintings, yet you offer me machines of war. What makes you think Milan should place its trust in you?
My lord, strength alone does not secure a kingdom, strategy does. My machines can bring me land dominance, and my designs will fortify its greatness beyond measure.
Intrigued by Leonardo's ingenuity, Ludovico Sforza welcomed him into his court. Over the years, Leonardo worked on military defenses, architectural designs, and an ambitious project, an enormous bronze equestrian statue in honor of Ludovico's father, Francesco Sforza. He devoted years to studying horse anatomy and perfecting the structural design. But before it could be cast in bronze, war erupted, and the metal was repurposed for weaponry. Despite the project's failure, Leonardo's time in Milan allowed him to expand his expertise and solidify his reputation as a master of both art and engineering. By the late 1490s, Leonardo had risen to prominence in Milan. It was during this period that he received one of his most significant commissions, to paint the Last Supper on the walls of the convent of Santa Maria delle Grazie. Rather than portraying a static religious scene, Leonardo infused the moment with raw emotion. The apostles' expressions captured disbelief, anguish, and contemplation, while Christ remained calm, his hands open in a gesture of sacrifice and destiny. To achieve his vision, Leonardo abandoned traditional fresco techniques, opting for an experimental method that allowed him to blend colors and shadows more precisely. However, the technique proved fragile, and within decades, the painting began to deteriorate. Despite its physical decay, The Last Supper remains one of the most revered and studied works in history, praised for its composition, perspective, and storytelling. Leonardo's passion extended far beyond painting. His notebooks, filled with intricate sketches and notes, reveal a mind centuries ahead of its time. His studies of human anatomy were revolutionary. He dissected cadavers to understand the structure of muscles and bones, producing illustrations so detailed that they influenced medical science long after his death. His interest in nature led him to study the flight of birds, inspiring designs for flying machines that foreshadowed modern helicopters and gliders. His fascination with water resulted in advanced hydraulic systems, and he even conceptualized a diving suit, envisioning the possibility of underwater exploration long before it was realized.
Nature is the ultimate teacher. Through observation, questioning, and understanding, we unlock the very essence of invention.
Despite his visionary ideas, most of Leonardo's inventions remained unrealized in his lifetime. His genius was too advanced for the technology of his era, leaving his innovations confined to notebooks that would inspire future generations. In 1500, after the fall of Milan, Leonardo returned to Florence, a city that had become a hub of artistic brilliance. It was there that he received a commission for what would become the most famous portrait in history, the Mona Lisa. Unlike conventional portraits, the Mona Lisa was an experiment in light, expression, and depth. The woman's enigmatic smile, her soft gaze, and the delicate sfumato technique Leonardo used to blend colors created an unmatched sense of realism. Unlike other commissioned portraits, Leonardo never delivered this one to its patron. Instead, he carried it with him wherever he went, refining and perfecting it over the years, as if it were a reflection of his own endless pursuit of artistic perfection. In 1516, he accepted an invitation from King Francis I of France, who greatly admired his work. He was granted a residence at the Château de Clos-Lucé, near the royal palace of Amboise, and was given the esteemed title of premier painter, engineer, and architect to the king. Despite declining health, Leonardo remained active, organizing and refining his vast collection of notes and manuscripts. He spent his final years contemplating his discoveries, improving his designs for city planning, water-driven machinery, and anatomical studies. King Francis I held Leonardo in the highest regard, frequently visiting him for discussions on art, science, and philosophy. Their bond was one of profound mutual respect, with Francis once declaring, "There has never been another man born who knew as much as Leonardo." On May 2nd, 1519, at the age of 67, Leonardo da Vinci passed away in France. According to legend, King Francis I was at his side, mourning the loss of one of the greatest minds the world had ever known. Though his life came to an end, his influence would extend far beyond his time, shaping countless disciplines and inspiring generations to come. Leonardo da Vinci was an artist. He was a visionary, a scientist, and a relentless seeker of truth. His fusion of art and science revolutionized both fields, proving that creativity and intellect are inseparable forces of progress. His masterpieces, The Last Supper and Mona Lisa, continue to captivate and challenge scholars, artists, and admirers worldwide. His scientific studies laid the foundation for numerous advancements in anatomy, engineering, and aerodynamics. He was not merely a figure of the Renaissance, he transcended his time, shaping the modern world in ways that even he could not have foreseen. Leonardo da Vinci remains the ultimate Renaissance man, a beacon of curiosity, imagination, and boundless ingenuity. His legacy is not confined to history books or museums. It lives on in the pursuit of knowledge, the spirit of innovation, and the courage to imagine the impossible.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this, please like, share, and subscribe to History Portal for more historical stories.